Hello my dear students, welcome back. What a joy to see you. How was the quiz? It was good, wasn't it? Alright, it's pretty easy. Everything that you learned, pretty much that's why Mr. Mac quizzed you, okay? And I know you did a good job. Alright, welcome back to the sub lesson where we're going to learn about arc of a circle, okay? Now when Mr. Mac said arc, what is arc? Okay, let's put a circle. Let's draw a circle. Let's say Mr. Mac to put in a center. And this is a center point right there, and then I take this compasses and I'm just going to draw a circle, okay? Alright, let's just draw a circle, okay? Now what do you call this line that Mr. Max is drawing right now? And that is the circumference, alright? So when I start from here, I go all the way around, makes a one complete circle, alright? When I make one complete circle, we call that circumference. Now when let's say Mr. Mac started, let's say vertical, okay? A vertical line, a vertical line, this is a starting point, right here. This is my starting point, okay? Let's say this is A. See that? When I take this line, this radius, I go all the way around. I made what? 360 degrees. Alright? So when I made a one full cycle, which is 360 degrees, and this is called circumference. When it goes less than 360, that's where the arc forms. Alright? So in other words, let's say Mr. Mac to put a line right here. In other words, I'm creating a sector. So when I create a sector, and this is what we call arc. And this is arc. Now this is a major arc. See that? So when it gets less than 360, it becomes an arc. Alright? So this is, let's say, angle. I give it an angle. Alright? So that angle created an arc. So look at this. As I make that angle wider or bigger, look at that. What happens to the arc? Now look at this arc. Let's say this is arc angle 1, angle 2. Now look at this angle, which is wider, bigger. And look at this arc. It's much bigger. See that? See that? Now let's see if I make it smaller. The angle smaller. And look at this angle 3. How small the arc is. So pretty much the angle is proportional to the arc. Alright? Okay? So now let's say Mr. Mac draw another circle. Alright? Let's Mr. Mac draw another circle. Put it center right here. Then I'm just going to draw another circle. So I want to divide that circle into 4 parts. Let's go back to our fraction. All right? Let's treat this as a pizza. Now what happens when Mr. Mac cut this pizza into 4 parts, 4 equal parts? Okay? Now it's a half, and then when I cut another half of the half, it becomes quarter. Okay, which is what? What is this? 1/4. Now what is this angle right here? It's 90 degrees. See that? Alright? So now I want to take the ratio of the 90 degrees to the 360 degrees. Now look at that. 90 degrees over 360. Let's simplify that. Alright? 0, 0 cancels out. I can divide 9 by 9. I can divide 36 by 9. Am I right? So it gives me what? 1/4, because 9 divided by 9 is 1, 36 divided by 9 is 4. See that? 1/4. So that pretty much tells me it's a 1/4 of a sector. If I take the ratio of the angle, okay, the 90 over the overall angle, which is 360. So that means we know that this is the circumference, okay? So for 360, this is the 360 that. For 90 is this one. So which means 1/4. 1/4. That means we know the circumference is 2 pi r. And that's for what? 360 degrees. Okay? Now what happened is 90 degrees. Which is what? 1/4 of this. Alright? I'm going to times it 2 pi r. See that? That's what pretty much 1/4. See that? 1/4. That means what? 90 degrees over 360. So now we don't have to put 90 over 360 times 2 pi r. That give me the arc. Okay? The arc for 1/4. The arc, actually I should say arc for 90 degrees. See that? So the angle divided by 360 times the overall formula of the circumference will give me the length of the arc. See that? Pretty straightforward, isn't it? So now let's say, for example, Mr. Mac to tell you this angle right here, this one is 30 degrees. I want to find the arc of this right there. Let's say XY. I want to find XY. So let's say arc XY equals to, what is the angle? 30 degrees over 360 times the circumference formula, 2 pi r. So now I simplify this. 0, 0 cancel. I can divide this by 3. I can divide this by 3. See that? So that gives me 1 over 36 divided by 3 is 12. 1/12 of 2 pi r. The 1/12, okay, of the whole circumference. It's what this is. Okay? Does that make sense? Make sense? In other words, if I had to cut this line and then put it in a long line, I cut that into 12 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I just need one part of it that represents XY. That's what's 1 over 12. I'm multiplying 1 over 12 of the overall of the circumference. Okay, so now I can give you any angle and you should be able to find the arc length. Okay, let's say for example for Mr. Mac to divide the 90 into another in between. Okay, let's say 45. So that means I bisected the 90. This is 45 degrees. And I want to find the arc of a 45 degree angle. Alright? So what do I do? Let's say this is AB. And I want to find the length of AB. So what do we do? So arc AB equals to 45 degrees over 360 times 2 pi r. 2 pi r. And that's the circumference formula. Okay, and you're taking 45 over 360 of the 2 pi r. So you simplify. We can divide this by, let's say 5. Okay, so 35 divided by 5 is 9. Alright, 360 divided by 5. So we're going to use the long division method. So 360 divided by 5 in 3, none, 36, 7. 7 times 5 is 35, minus 6 minus 5 is 1, 3 minus 3 is 0. Bring the 0 down, 10. 10, how many 5? 2. 2 times 5 is 10. That gives me 0, 72. Can I simplify this further? Yes. I can divide 9 by 9, I can divide 72 by 9. By 9 times what? Give me 72. 8. Alright, so I'm going to divide this by 9, I can divide this by 9. So that gives me 1 over 8 times 2 pi r. See that? 1 over 8 times 2 pi r. So that's 1/8 of the circumference. That's what that is. So 45 degrees is 1/8 of the circumference. Okay, so now let's say if I told you the radius is, let's say 2 centimeters. And I want to find the arc of AB. So right there. So the arc of AB equals to 1 over 8 times 2 pi r. I substitute r with 2 centimeters. So 1 over 8 times 2 pi times 2. Now I can simplify. 2 times 2 is what? 4. 4. So I can divide this by 4. I can divide this by 4. See that? That gives me 1 over 2 times, because 2 times 2 is 4. 4 divided by 4 is pretty much gone. See that? And this one becomes 2. As I brought the 2. So left is what? Pi. So that means pi over 2 centimeter. And that's the arc. Alright? So I can substitute pi with 3.142 and divide that by 2 and I should get the answer in the form of numbers. Alright? So in other words, 3.142 over 2. So we're going to use the arrow down method. 3.142 divided by 2. So we're going to use the long division cage approach. 3.142 divided by 2. 3.142 is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage. And the 2 is kind of out. I'll put outside the cage. In 3 there's how many 2? 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Minus 3 minus 2 is 1. See there's a decimal there. Bring the decimal up. Bring the 1 down. In 11 there's how many 2? 5. 5 times 2 is 10, minus, give me 1, bring the 4 down. In 14 there's how many 2? 7. 7 times 2 is 14, give me 0, bring the 2 down. In 2 there's how many 2? 1. 1 times 2 is 2, minus, give me 0. So the arc of AB is 1.571 centimeters, like that. Pretty easy, isn't it? All right, let Mr. Mac erase the board. Let's talk more about this, okay? I'll be back with you in a few seconds. All right, my dear students, now let's find the length of the arc of a circle, and I gave you the radius and the angle at the center. All right, so let's say I gave you the radius. Okay, the radius is 4 centimeters and the angle at the circle is 60 degrees, and I want to find the length, arc length. Okay, so I want to find the arc length. Let's say we say AB. So we want to find the arc length of AB with a radius of 4 centimeters and the angle at center is 60 degrees. So how do we do that? Okay, so pretty much if I had to express in a form of circle, so draw a circle and then a center point is right there, and this is the 60 degrees angle right there. Okay, we're looking for this arc right there, and the radius is given as what? 4 centimeters. Based on that information, can we find the arc? Yes, because we know that this is a one what? Circumference, all right? Circumference is what? Or the formula is 2 pi r. And we want to find 60 over 360. So 60 over 360 of that circumference. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's do that. So we want to find arc AB equals to exactly 60 degrees over 360, and we're going to times it with 2 pi r. That 2 pi r is the whole circumference of that circle. Alright? And now we're going to simplify. 0, 0 can be cancelled out. Alright? So we can divide 6 by 6, we can divide 36 by 6. Gives me what? 1 over 6 times 2 pi r. And let's say we're going to use pi as 3.142. Okay, we're going to use pi 3.142. So now we're going to substitute. All right, so we're going to say 1 over 6 times 2 times 3.142 times the radius is 4. All right, so we're going to do that right there. Okay, so what are you going to do now? Exactly, see if we can simplify. 6 and 2 can be simplified. I can divide this by 2, gives me 3. I can divide this by 2, gives me 1. Alright, so now I cannot simplify any further. I just multiply all the top. This is all over 1 over 1. See that? So 1 times 3.142 times 4, and then divide the whole thing by 3. Alright, okay, so let's use a calculator. Okay, so in this case you can use calculator. Okay, so we can say 1 times 1 is 1, so 1 times 3.142 is 3.142. So we can take 3.142 times 4. If you're using basic calculator, equal that. Equal and then divide that by 3. So that should give you 4.18933. Okay, we want to round it up to 2 decimal. Alright, so we're going to have 4.19 because 9 is bigger than 5. 1 plus to the 8 will becomes 9. See that? So 4.19 right there, centimeters. And that's the arc of AB. Okay, does that make sense? All right. Okay, good. So it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Now let's say, for example, if I were to change the problem, this time I ask you to find, let's say it's 120 degrees, and then I told you this, the radius is, let's say, 5 centimeters. How do you do that? Pretty easy, same thing. Now you're taking 120, so the arc, okay, this time arc of AB, it's 120 over 360. This is the one that you want to look for. That's the one, the fraction. Right there becomes 1 over 6. And this one's going to be times the circumference. Alright? Because you're taking the fraction of the complete circumference. Alright? Okay, so 2 pi r. 2 pi r. So let's simplify. 0, 0 cancels out. I can divide this by 12. I can divide this by 12. 12 divided by 12 is 1. 36 divided by 12 is 3. Times 2 pi r. Okay, so now we're going to substitute. Okay, so 2 times 3.142 times what the radius is? 5 centimeters times 5 over 3. Pretty much you can rewrite this like this. So I'm going to use the calculator, right? So if you have a basic calculator, you take 2 times 3.142 times 5 and then say equal and then divide by 3. And that gives me 10.473. So we're just going to round it up to 2 decimal. 3 is less than a 5. That means I just write down as 10.47 centimeters. So the arc of AB with a new angle of 120 degrees at the center will give me 10.47 centimeters. See that? As the arc gets bigger, as the angle gets bigger from 60 degrees, when it's 60 degrees, look at that, 4.19. When it becomes 120 degrees, it becomes what? 10.47. Alright? Pretty straightforward. Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, good. So now you know how to find the arc length of a given radius and the angle at the center. Now what about this time I give you the arc length and the angle, okay, at the center, and ask you to find the radius. We're going to reverse it. Okay? We're going to reverse it. Okay? Well, give Mr. Mac a few seconds. I'll erase the board and we'll learn that part of it. And I'll be back with you in a few seconds. My dear student, this time I give you the arc length. Okay, let's say if I give you the arc length. All right, so let's say arc AB. All right, AB is, let's say, 24 centimeters. All right, and I told you the angle at the center of a circle. All right, I gave you is, let's say, 150 degrees. Find the radius. I want you to find the radius. We're going to reverse it. Earlier, we got the radius and the angle. We found the arc length. Now we want to find the radius given the arc length and the angle. Now, always write down the formula first, okay? Don't try to find the radius right away. Do this. So what is the arc formula? So ARC, we're going to put arc. AB equals to the angle that we're using, which is 150 over the 360 times 2 pi r. See that? Okay, so let's simplify first. 150 over 360. Alright, 0, 0 cancels out. Left is 15 over 36. Now I want to simplify further because I can divide 15 and 36 with the same number, which would be what? 3. Okay, I can divide 15 by 3 and 36 by 3. So that gives me what? 15 divided by 3 is what? 5. 36 divided by 3, very good, 12. 5 over 12 times 2 pi over r. Now I can combine all this and put it in a one form. What I mean by that? 5 times 2 is what? 10. 10 pi r over 12. It's arc, which is arc ABC is what? 24. Okay, we're going to put 24 right there. Now let's solve for r. We are isolating r because we're looking for r. So everything surrounding r got to go. Okay, so let's start with 12. What is 12 doing to r? It's dividing. So division across the bridge, so becomes what? Multiplication. So I got 24 times 12 equals to 10 pi r. Alright, and then who's got to go next? 10 pi. Why is 10 pi? 10 pi is multiplying to r, and we're looking for r by itself. So 10 pi got to go. So 10 pi is doing what? Multiplying. Cross the bridge, so it becomes division. Alright, so this one we brought the 12 across, becomes multiplication. Now we're going to take 10 pi. So 24 times 12 divided by 10 pi equals to r. Right there. See that? Okay, so let's use the calculator, and we're going to use the, if you're using the basic calculator, solve the top part first. Okay, what would that be? 24 times 12, that gives me 288 over 10 times pi. Okay, so 10 times pi, which is 3.142, which is 31.42. And then you take 288, you divide that by 31.42, so it gives you 9.1661, okay, 4. But we want to round it up to 2 decimal, right there, 1, 2. See the decimal right there? 1, 2, 2 digit. The 6 is greater than 5. That means I'm going to add 1 to the 6, becomes 7, 1.9. So 9.17 equals to R. So the radius is 9.17 centimeters. Okay, so R equals to 9.17 centimeters right there. Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward. Okay, so first write down the formula. Okay, fill it in and then solve for R. Isolate R. Move them one by one by using Max's first law. Okay, cross the bridge. Addition cross the bridge becomes subtraction. Subtraction cross the bridge becomes addition. Multiplication cross the bridge becomes division. Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. All right. Okay, good. Let's do another one. Okay, let's say, for example, this time Mr. Mac told you the arc. Okay, so I told you the arc. Let's say RS. Okay, RS is 35 centimeters, and then I told you the angle. The angle at the center of the circle is, let's say, 250 degrees. Okay, and I want you to find the radius. Find the radius. How do you do that? How do you do that? Okay, so again, let's write down the arc formula. Okay, arc equals to the angle. All right, so the angle is 250 over 360, the ratio of the angle. Okay, the angle that you're looking for the arc, okay, because the proportion, all right, 250 is proportion, the angle is proportion to the arc. So that's why I take 250 over 360 times 2 pi r, the circumference. Okay, simplify. 0, 0 cancels out. All right, so I got 25 over 36. Can I simplify any further? No, I leave it that way. Okay, so you got 25 over 36 times 2 pi r, and then combine that. Okay, 25 times 2 is 50. 50 pi r over 36. And now you know the arc is what? 35. So 35. Now solve for r. Look for r. In other words, isolate everything surrounding r. So who got to go? 36 got to go. 50 pi got to go. But look what's 36 doing to r. It's dividing. Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. So 35 times 36 equals to 50 pi r. Again, I'm looking for r. 50 pi got to go. So what's 50 pi is doing to r? It's multiplication, multiplying. Multiplication cross the bridge becomes division. So 35 times 36 over 50 pi. Okay, and that's r. Okay, I moved it so I can rewrite. Okay, well, let me keep it here so it won't confuse you. Which I can rewrite this as r equals to 35 times 36 is, let's use a calculator. All right, 35 times 36 gives me 1260 divided by 50 times pi. What's 50 times pi? So 3.142 times 50, and that gives me 157.1. All right, now once I get this, because you're using basic calculator, if you're using scientific calculator, you can punch in this exactly. 35 times 36 divided by 50 pi will give you the answer. If you're using a basic calculator, you got to you have to break them individually. Do this first, do this next, and then now you divide. So you take 1260 divided by 157.1, and that gives me 8.0203. But we want to round out to 2 decimal. So we're going to leave it as 8.02 centimeters, and that's the radius. The radius of that arc with the angle of 250 degrees is 8.02 centimeters. Pretty easy, isn't it? All right. Well, my dear student, that's the end of the sub lesson on the arc of a circle. Okay, that means it's time for hands-on practice. That's right. Let's do some hands-on practice, okay? All right, let's see what Pablo's doing. Wow, he is busy putting some hands-on practice together. All right, let Mr. Mac erase the board and then we'll call Pablo, okay? And I'll see you in a few seconds. Right, my dear students, are you ready for some hands-on practice? I know you are. Mr. Mac is too. Let's see if Pablo's ready. He is ready. Pablo, come on over. Bring the worksheet. Come on over, Pablo. Well, my dear students, when Pablo hand over the sheet, be sure to pause the video and have fun with it. Once you're done, come back and invite Mr. Mac in and we'll work together. And here it is. Have fun. Oh, good. All right. The first question says, find the length of the arc of a circle. All right. And you're given is what? Okay. So we're given, what is given? We're given the radius. Okay. They gave us the radius of the circle is 4.5 centimeters. And then we're given angle at the center of the circle. Okay. Is 36 degrees. Okay. 36 degrees. Okay. So the angle. All right, and we want to find the arc length. All right, so let's do that. The length of the arc. Okay, so pretty much what it is, it's a circle right here, and then that's the center right there, and then the angle right here is 36 degrees, and the radius is 4.5 centimeters, and we want to find that length right there. That's the arc. All right, we want to find that length. So what's the formula? First, write down the exactly the formula. All right, so the arc equals to 36 divided by 360 times, what is that? 2 pi r. Very good. 2 pi r. Good job. Okay, because that's the circumference formula, and we're taking 36 over 360 of that. All right, let's simplify this. Okay, so we know 36, I can divide this by 36, I can divide this by 36. So that gives me 36 divided by 36 is 1, 360 divided by 36 is 10, times 2, and what's pi? Pi is 3.142, it's given, okay, use pi, 3.142, and then times r. What is r? 4.5. Okay, and it's going to be in centimeter. We're just not going to use the centimeter. Okay, we're not going to write it out. All right, we know the final answer is going to be centimeter. Okay, good. So what do we do next? All right, we know that we can combine all this, the top over the bottom. But look at this, you can even simplify this 1 and this one becomes 5. All right, so it becomes 1 times 1 times 3.142. So in other words, 3.142 times 4.5 over 5. All right, so we'll take the calculator. All right, let's take the calculator and then solve the top part. If you're using a basic calculator, you have to solve the top part first, okay, which is 3.142 times 4.5, and that gives you 14.139 over 5. Okay, now you take 14.139, you divide that by 5, that gives you 2.8278, and we're going to round it up to the 2 decimal. All right, 2 decimal. All right, so the 7 is greater than 5, so that means we're going to add 1 to the 2, it becomes 2.83 centimeters right there. So the arc, okay, of that circle, all right, the arc, the length are like the 36 degrees, at the center would be 2.83 centimeters. 2.83 centimeters. Pretty easy, isn't it? Straightforward. All right, okay, good. Now let's go to problem B. Problem B, this time you're given, all right, B, the radius is 6 centimeters, okay? So you're given radius 6 centimeters and the angle at the center is 180 degrees. 180 degrees. All right? Now, what's our goal? First, we got to write down the formula, the arc. The arc formula is 180 over 360. Always take that ratio of the 180 over the total angle, the 360, the angle that you're looking for over the angle the total angle of the circle. And then we're going to times that with 2 pi r. And you know the 180 over 360 is pretty much 1 over 2. 0, 0 cancel out. I can divide 18 by 18. I can divide 36 by 18. And that gives me 1 and that gives me 2. So that pretty much 1 over 2 times 2 pi. Pi is 3.142. So 3.142 times r. R is 6 centimeters. See that? Okay. Now look at that. 2 and 2 I can cancel out. Alright, so that means I got 1 here, 1 here. So 1 over 1 is 1, 1 times 1 times 3.142 times 6. Alright, so that gives me 3.142 times 6. Okay, so the arc that we take 3.142 times 6, line it up. 6 times 2 is 12, 2 carry 1, 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So 5, carry the 2, 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. See the decimal, bring it down. 6 times 3 is 18. So we used to the 2 decimal number, so we're going to say 18.85 because the 2 is less than 5, okay? So it's going to become 0, we don't add anything, we just put 18.85 centimeters, and that's the arc length. All right, for the angle 180 degrees. Okay, good. Well, let's do problem 2. We'll let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll do problem number 2, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear student, you ready for problem number 2? Alright, let's do it, okay? Problem 2 said find the length of the arc for each circles below. Okay, Mr. Mac got drawn the 2 circles here. 2A, alright? 2A, you're given a circle and then you're told to find the arc length, okay? Of a center, of a angle of 240 degrees, okay? Center of the circle, and then this is the length I want you to find. M. Alright, and you're given the radius is 8 centimeters. So how do we do that? Pretty much same. In this case, I just gave you the drawing, okay, of the circle and then ask you to find the arc length, alright, from this point to that point. So how do we do that? Again, write down the formula. Arc equals to, what's the angle? 240. So 240 over the overall angle, which is 360 times 2 pi r. See that? Alright? Okay, and we know r. What's r? 8 centimeters. So we're going to substitute r with 8. Alright? So let's cancel the 0 and 0. I can divide 24 by 12. I can divide 36 by 12. So that gives me exactly 24 divided by 12 is, very good, is 2. And then 36 divided by 12 is 3. And then 2 pi r is 8. Alright, and then we know pi is 3.142. Okay, so let's rewrite that. 2 times 2 times 3.142 times 8. Alright, alright, so we can do like this. Okay, so over 3, right there. So you can rewrite this like this. Does that make sense? So now let's take the calculator. Okay, let's take the calculator. So first you want to solve the top part of it. Okay, the top part is 2 times 2 times 3.142 times 8. So 2 times 2 times 3.142 times 8 gives me 100.544, and then I'm going to divide that by 3. Okay, so I'm going to divide that by 3, gives me 33.515, and we only want 2 decimal. Okay, 2 decimal. All right, so there you go, right there. 1 2. See, that's a decimal right there. 1 2 and 5. that 5 is when you say equal or greater, you add 1 to this digit. In this case is equal, so I'm going to add 1 to 1, so it becomes 2, so it becomes 33.52 centimeters, and that's the length of that arc. Okay, 33.52 centimeters. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, now let's look at B. Alright, so B, you're given, alright, the radius is 12 centimeters. And then what is this angle? They didn't tell us the angle, but they gave us a small square. What does that tell you? It's 90 degrees. Exactly. You need to know that because that's the right angle. Alright? Okay, so again, we're going to write down the formula. The arc, okay, arc formula is 90 over 360 times 2 pi r. See that? Okay, let's simplify this. 0, 0 cancels out. I can divide 9 by 9 and I can divide 36 by 9. That gives me 9 divided by 9 is 1 and 36 divided by 9 is 4. So 1/4 of the circle. See that? 1/4 of the circumference. And then 2 times 3.142 times r is 12. See that? Now look at that. 4 and 12. I can simplify. 4 divided by 4, 12 divided by 4. See that? That makes this one 1 and this one makes it 3. Alright? If you're confused with that, let me, Mr. Mac, rewrite that. Okay? What that was, okay, we got 1 over 4, okay, times 2 times 3.142 times 12. Pretty much Mr. Mac can rewrite this whole thing like this. 1 times 2 times 3.142 times 12 over 4. See that? When you're multiplying, you can simplify 4 and 12. I can divide 4 by 4, I can divide 12 by 4. So that gives me 3 and 1. So now look, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times that. Okay, so we can rewrite 2 times 3.142 times 3 over 1. Okay, so now let's take the calculator. Alright, so 2 times 3 is 6. Alright, or we don't even need the calculator, we know how to do that. Okay, because 2 times 3 is 6 times 3.142. We use the long multiplication method. 3.142 times 6. 6 times 2 is 12, 2 carry 1, 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25, 5 carry 2, 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. And then bring the decimal down, 6 times 3 is 18. So that means 18.852 centimeters right there. And that's the, right there. That's what we're looking for, which was the U. We're looking for U. So U equals to 18.852 centimeters. Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward, okay? See that? The key thing is what? This angle over the overall angle, the 360. See that? 90 over 360. 240 over 360. Alright? 240 over 360. That tells you it's 2/3. It's a 2/3 of the, exactly, the 2/3 of the circle. It's a 1/4 of the circle. Okay? That means 1/4 of the circumference. So if I know the total circumference, I divide that by 4. Pretty much that's what we did. See that? The 2 pi r, divide that by 4. Pretty easy, isn't it? Straightforward, alright? Okay, good. Well, let's do problem number 3. Let Mr. Bank erase the board and we'll do problem number 3. And I'll be back within a few seconds. Alright, my dear student, problem number 3. It says find the radius of the circle. This time we're finding the radius, and given is what? The length of the arc and the angle at the center. Alright, so this time we got the length of the arc and the angle, and we're looking for the radius. Alright, so it's going to be reverse. So problem 3a. Let's say Mr. Mac to draw the circle. Okay, so this is the center and we're given the angle is 160. Okay, so this is 160 degrees. And we're given the arc length. The arc length is 36 centimeters. And I want to find what's the radius. That's the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for R. Alright? So what do? Let's write down the formula. Okay? The formula is what? The arc equals to 160 over 360 times 2 pi r. See that? And this is what we're looking for, all right? So before we do anything, let's simplify, all right? So we know 0, 0, we can cancel out. And we can divide this by, let's see, 4 gives us 4. And can divide this by 4 gives us 9. See that? So now we got 4 times 2 times pi times r over 9. Now 4 times 2 is 8. So that gives us 8 pi r over 9. See that? And we know the arc is what? Arc is given is 36. So we can substitute for arc, 36. Okay? So what are we looking for? The unknown, which is the r. That means we're going to isolate r. So who got to go? 9. It's dividing. Cross the bridge becomes multiplication. So we got 36 times 9 equals to 8 pi r. Again, we're looking for r. Who's next got to go? 8 pi. It's multiplying. So multiplication cross the bridge becomes division. So we got 36 times 9 over 8 pi gives me r. And we know pi is what? So we can say 36 times 9 over 8 times 3.142. Okay, that's r. So let's solve the top part. So let's take our calculator. Alright, if you're using a basic calculator, you got to do it separately. Alright, and then you divide. If you're using a scientific calculator, you can put 36 times 9, divide 8 times 3.142. Alright, okay, so now let's do that. So we're going to do 36 times 9. So that gave me 324, and then 8 times 3.142. Okay, 3.142 times 8, that gave me 25.136. all right, so now I'm going to take 3 to 4. I'm going to divide that with 25.136, and that gave me, let's say, r equals to 12.8898. all right, so now I'm going to round it up to 2 decimal. See that? So 9 is greater than 5, so I'm going to add 1 to 8, so that gives me 12.89 centimeters as the radius. So the radius is 12.89 centimeters. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Straightforward. Okay, the key thing is what? Putting the formula and then solving for r, and then move everything that surrounded r. That's it. You shouldn't have any difficulty. Okay? Alright? Good job. Alright, good. Let's do B. Now B, you're given, okay, we've been asked, find the radius of the circle. Again, you're finding the radius. Okay, you're given the length. Okay, in other words, pretty much, if I draw the circle, alright, so this is the center, and you're given the angle is 80 degrees. Okay, this is 80 degrees, and the arc length is 48 centimeters. See that? The length of the arc is 48 centimeters, and the angle is 80 degrees, and we're looking for r, the radius. So we're going to reverse it. Okay, again, we're going to put the formula first. Arc equals to 80 over 360 times 2 pi r. Let's solve this first. Okay, let's simplify. Okay, which will be 0, 0 cancels out. I can divide 8 with 4, which gives me 2. I can 36 divided by 4 gives me 9. So that makes it 2 times 2 pi r over 9, which is what? 4 pi r over 9. And the arc is 48. So I can put 48. Alright? And I'm looking for r. So let's take them, cross the bridge. Let's start with 9. 9 is dividing. Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication, becomes 48 times 9. And then what left? 4 pi r, because 9 is already gone. And I'm going to take the 4 pi, and I'm going to, it's multiplying. So multiplication cross the bridge becomes division. Okay, so that becomes 48. Okay, 48 times 9 over 4 pi, which is r. See that? Okay, so let Mr. Mac write it over here. Alright, so r equals to 48 times 9 over 4 times, what's pi? 3.142. Okay, 3.142. Okay, we're going to solve this first. All right, we're going to multiply 48 by 9 first. Okay, because we are using a basic calculator, you got to do separately. You got to do this first and then do this and then you divide. Okay, let's do that. So 48 times 9 gives me 432 over 4 times 3.142. All right, 4 times 3.142 gives me 12.568. Now I'm going to divide. So I'm going to take 432 divided by 12.568, and that gives me 34.373. But I only want 2 decimal. All right, 2 decimal. So I'm going to put a line right there, and 1, 2, see that decimal right there, 2 decimal. 3 is less than 5, so I turn this into a 0. I don't add a number to 7, just rewrite like this, and you drop it. All right, so it becomes 34.37 centimeters, and that's the radius. So the radius is 34.37 centimeters, okay, for an angle of 80 degrees. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Straightforward. Okay, good. All right, let's do problem number 4. All right, give me a few seconds, I'll be back. Alright, my dear student, let's do problem number 4. Okay, problem 4 is pretty much like problem number 3. This time I've given the diagram, the circle. Okay, find the radius for each circles below. Alright, 4a. So 4a, so you're given a circle, alright, and then the center, and then you're given the angle. Angle is 60 degrees. 60 degrees, and then you're given the arc. The length of the arc is 14 centimeters, and they want us to find the radius, the r. Alright, so what do we do? Exactly, we're going to write the formula. Okay, so arc equals to, and the angle is 60 over 360 times 2 pi r. See that? The ratio of the angle that we're looking for, the arc of that angle we're looking for, over the 360, the total angle, because we know that 2 pi r is a 360 degree angle, the whole thing. Okay, now we're looking for the 60 degree angle for the arc. So now we're going to simplify. 0, 0 cancels out. I'm going to divide this by 6. I'm going to divide this by 6. That gives me 1 over 6, 2 pi r. Okay, that means 2 pi r over 6. Okay, I can simplify 6 and 2. This one becomes 3, this one becomes 1. See that? And we know the arc is what? 14 centimeters, alright? Okay, we're going to set that unit aside for right now. We're looking for r. Who got to go? 3 first. Okay, let's bring 3 across the bridge. What's 3 is doing to r? It's dividing. Division across the bridge becomes multiplication. So 14 times 3 equals 2. Now the 2's already become 1, so pi r. Okay, we're looking for r. Who got to go? Pi. And what's pi doing to r? It's multiplying. So multiplication across the bridge becomes division. So 14 times 3 over pi is what? 3.142. See that? So now I should be able to solve it. Okay, let's take the calculator, and then first we're going to multiply first. 14 times 3. So 14 times 3 equals to 42. Okay, so it's become 42 over 3.142. Okay, which is the radius. And then we take 42, we're going to divide that by 3.142, and that gives me 13.367. And we want 2 decimal. Alright, so that's a decimal right there. 2 decimal. 1, 2. Put a line right there. 7 is greater than 5. So I'm going to add 1 to 6. So 1 plus 6 becomes 7. 3. And then put the decimal. 3, 1. Right there. And then put the unit, centimeters. The radius is 13.37 centimeters. Alright? Alright, let's do problem B. Now B, you're given a circle also. Okay? And then we are finding what? They're finding the radius for each circles below, okay? And you're given the center point. Now, this huge angle right here, which is 330 degrees. Okay, so we're given 330 degrees. Now, we're looking for the radius, but we're given what? The arc of that, which is what? 24 centimeters from this point all the way around. So it's 24 centimeters, and we want to find out what the radius is going to be. All right, so what do we do? Exactly, let's write down the formula. Okay, so the arc equals to 330 over 360 times 2 pi r. All right, 2 pi r. Let's simplify this. 0, 0 cancels out. I can divide 33 by 3. I can divide 36 by 3. So that gives me 33 divided by 3 is 11. 36 divided by 3 is 12 times 2 pi r. Now I can simplify 12 and 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. See that? So that makes it 11 pi r over 6. And we know the arc length is what? 24. So I'm going to put here 24. And I'm solving for r. Okay, because I'm looking for r. So I'm going to isolate. So who got to go? 6. What's 6 doing? Dividing. Okay, division across the bridge becomes multiplication. See that? Okay, and then I'm going to move this one, which is left is what? 11 pi r. So I'm going to move the 11 pi. Cross the bridge becomes, multiplication becomes division. So 24 times 6 over 11 times pi, which is 3.142, which is the radius. Alright? So now we're going to find what this value first, and then we're going to find what that value, and then we're going to divide, will give us the radius. Okay, now again, why am I doing that? Because the basic calculator doesn't give you the function that you should be able to enter everything, but the advanced calculator you should be able to put 24 times 6 bracket. So the advanced calculator you can punch in 24 times 6, put a bracket. Okay, so 24 times 6, and then see, this is division, and then bracket 11 times 3.142 right there. That's for the advanced calculator. Okay, and then you press enter, will give you the answer. Now with the basic calculator, we got to take 24 times 6, so that gives me 144 over. Now I'm going to take this two now, 11 times 3.142. okay, so 11 times 3.142 gives me 34.562. So now I clear it, I take 144 divided by 34.562, that gives me 4.1664. okay, and that's the radius. Alright, but I want it to 2 decimal. Alright, so see that? 1, 2. I'm going to put a line right there. 6 is greater than 5. So I'm going to add 1 to 6. So 1 plus 6 becomes 7. So that gives me 4.17 centimeters. See that? 4.17 centimeters. So I round it up to 2 decimal. Alright, the 6 is greater than 5. I add 1 to 6 becomes 7. So 4.17 centimeters. And that's the radius. Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward. Alright, good. Now let's do problem number 5. Alright, give me a few seconds and I'll be back. Alright, my dear student, ready for problem 5? Alright, let's do it, okay? Problem 5. Now, problem 5 says find the angle at the center of the circle. They want us to find the angle this time, and given is what? The radius and the length of arc. Now earlier was given is what? The angle and the length of arc, and we looked for the radius. Alright, this time we want to find the angle. Alright, so let's do 5a. Now 5a, so in other words, pretty much what it is this is the circle right there. Alright, so this is the center point, and you're given the radius. The radius is 8 centimeters, and then you're told the arc length. Okay, the length of the arc is 12 centimeters, but you don't know what this angle is. That's what we're looking for. Alright, so what do we do? Write it out. Write out the formula. Okay, the arc equals to the angle that we're looking for over the 360 times 2 pi arc. Alright, right there. See that? Because we don't know the angle, but we know the arc. Arc is what? 12. Let's put the 12. And we know the radius. The radius is 8. Okay, let's put 8. Alright, So now let's simplify it before we move things around, okay? So let's do that. 2 times 8 is 16. So we know that it's going to be 16 pi theta over 360, all right? So we can simplify 16 with 360. Okay, let's simplify, okay? 16 with 360. I can divide 16 by 4 and 360 by 4. 16 divided by 4 is what? It's 4, and then we're going to rewrite the pi theta. 360 divided by 4, okay, we can use the long division method, okay? Use the cage approach. 360 is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage. 4 is kind of out. I'll put outside the cage. 3, we can have 36. Yes, 9 times 4 is 36. Minus, give me 0. That's a 0. Bring it up, all right? So it becomes 90. But we can simplify further. I can divide by 2 and 2. So this one becomes 2. This one becomes 45. See that? That becomes 2 pi theta over 45, and bring the 12 here. And I'm looking for theta. I'm going to isolate theta. Who got to go first? 45. And what's 45 doing to theta? It's dividing. Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. So 12 times 45 equals to 2 pi theta. And I'm looking for theta. So 2 pi got to go. What's 2 pi is doing? It's multiplying. Multiplication cross the bridge becomes division. Exactly. So it becomes 2 pi right there. Okay. Now I'm going to substitute that pi with 3.142. Okay. Let's rewrite that. So theta equals to 12 times 45, all right, over 2 times 3.142. Okay, so let's take the calculator, all right? So we're going to solve the top one first. We're going to take 12 divided by 45. 12 times 45. Okay, so 12 times 45 gave me 540 over 2 times 3.142. Okay. 2 times 3.142 gives me 6.284. Now I'm going to divide. So I'm going to take 540. I'm going to take 540. I'm going to divide that by 6.284. And that gives me 85.93. All right, degrees. I can round it up to the round number. So I can say this is 86 degrees. See that? Because the 9 is greater than 5. So I'm going to add 1 to the 5, becomes 6. So the angle, the reference angle of that one is, okay, for the arc length to this, the angle to the center of the circle is 86 degrees. That's it. Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, just follow the same step you did with the radius, except this time is the angle. All right, let's do problem B. Okay, problem B, you're given, all right, B. Okay, let's write it right here. B, you're given again a circle, okay. In this case, they give you the radius and the arc. Okay, let's put the circle, all right, the circle right there and the center right there. And the radius was given as 6 centimeters. And then you're given the arc length, all right, 24 centimeters. And we want to find this angle. We know what the angle is, okay. So let's write out the formula. Arc equals to angle over 360 times 2 pi r. See that? Because we don't know the angle, that's why we put 360. But we know the arc, we know the radius. Let's substitute. Okay, so 24 equals to theta over 360 times 2 pi, and r is 6. We're going to put 6. Alright, so let's times them out. Alright, the top part, we want to say 2 times 6 is 12. 12 pi theta over 360 equals to 24. Now look at that, this two I can simplify. I can divide 12 by 12. I can divide 360 by 12. Okay, so that makes it, this one becomes 1. So 1 pi theta. So I don't have to put the 1, okay, because 1, you don't have to show it, alright, over 360 divided by 12. Okay, if I use the long division method, use the Cage approach, 360 divided by 12. In 3 I cannot. In 36, how many 12? 3. 3 times 12 is 36. Minus, give me 0. Then bring the 0 up, because I came down to 0. There's nothing number there, but it's a 0, just bring it up. Okay, so that makes it 30. And I'm looking for theta. So I'm isolating the theta. Who got to go first? I can take division or multiplication, doesn't matter actually. Okay, so I can take the 30 first. Dividing, cross the bridge becomes multiplication. And then pi is multiplying theta. Multiplication across the bridge becomes division. So 224 times 30 divided by pi equals to theta. Alright, so I can rewrite this one right here. So theta equals to 24 times 30 over 3.142. Alright, because I substitute pi with 3.142. Okay, so let's take the calculator. Let's multiply the top part, the 24 times 30, which give me 720. Okay, 720, and I'm going to divide that by 3.142. So I'm going to divide that by 3.142. That gave me 229.15. Okay, so we can round it up. All right, so let's round up to the round number. So 229. So the theta in this case is 229 degrees. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, so make sure you understand how to come up with this right there. Make sure you understand how to come up with this. If I'm looking for the angle, all right? Now, if I'm looking for the radius, you will know this angle, and this is what you're looking for. Okay? Does that make sense? And if you know the radius and the angle, so you know this too, and this is what you're looking for. But always write down like this, and then move things around, which you're looking for. You're looking for the radius, move all this. Simplify first, and then move them to the across the bridge approach. Okay, good. Well, look at Pablo. Pablo said, well, it's time for quiz. Yes, it is time for quiz, my dear students. I'm so proud of you. You learned so much on this. Well, I will see you on the next sub lesson, okay?